It was supposed to be the happiest night of Ethan Caldwell's life. The ballroom of the historic Grand Wellington Hotel shimmered beneath towering crystal chandeliers. White roses draped every table, a string quartet played softly in the corner, and nearly 300 guests, business leaders, politicians, journalists, friends, and family, had gathered to celebrate the engagement of one of the city's most admired entrepreneurs. At the center of it all stood Ethan and his fiancée, Victoria Bennett. Victoria looked radiant in a silver evening gown that sparkled every time she moved. Ethan couldn't stop smiling. After years of building his company and surviving countless personal sacrifices, he finally felt his life had found balance. He raised his champagne glass. Thank you all for being here tonight. I never imagined so many wonderful people would come together to celebrate our future. Applause filled the room. Victoria squeezed his hand. You look nervous. I am. She laughed softly. You've spoken in front of thousands of investors. That's business. Marrying you is much scarier. The crowd chuckled warmly. Before Ethan could continue, the ballroom doors suddenly burst open. A young woman stumbled inside. Her expensive dress was wrinkled, her makeup streaked with tears, and her breathing was uneven as though she had run through the entire hotel. Every conversation stopped. The violinists slowly lowered their instruments. Guests turned toward the entrance. The woman placed one trembling hand over her stomach. Tears streamed down her face. I'm having your baby. Her voice echoed through the silent ballroom. Then she lifted her shaking finger and pointed directly at Ethan. The room exploded into whispers. What? No way. Did she say Ethan? Cameras immediately flashed from every direction. Several journalists rushed closer. Victoria's smile disappeared. She looked first at the stranger, then at Ethan. What is she talking about? Ethan stared back in complete confusion. I don't know. The woman continued sobbing. You promised you wouldn't leave me. Guests exchanged uneasy looks. You said you'd always protect our child. Victoria slowly released Ethan's hand. Her breathing became shallow. Tell me she's lying. I've never seen her before. The woman laughed bitterly through her tears. You don't even recognize me now. I honestly don't. She took another step forward. You spent months telling me I was special. Ethan shook his head. No. You said you'd leave your old life behind. No. You promised we'd be a family. I never said any of that. The whispers grew louder. Several guests quietly pulled out their phones, already posting updates online. Within minutes, rumors had begun spreading across social media. Someone whispered near the back of the room. Poor Victoria. Another replied. I always knew billionaires had secrets. Victoria's eyes began filling with tears. She wasn't angry yet. She was hurt. Confused. Searching Ethan's face for answers. If this is true, she whispered, please tell me now. It isn't. You swear. I swear on everything I have. The woman cried even harder. Listen to him. She looked around the room dramatically. He still won't admit the truth. Several guests nodded sympathetically. One elderly woman quietly handed the stranger a tissue. Victoria looked trapped between love and doubt. Every second Ethan remained unable to explain made him appear more guilty. The stranger carefully reached into her designer handbag. I brought proof. The room held its breath. She slowly removed a sealed medical envelope. Hospital logos were visible on the front. My ultrasound. Several people gasped. She held it high enough for nearby guests to see. Our baby. Victoria closed her eyes. Her shoulders slumped. Ethan felt his stomach twist. This isn't real. Then explain it. I can't explain something that isn't true. You can, she snapped. You simply won't. The reporters circled closer like sharks smelling blood. One photographer climbed onto a chair for a better angle. Another began recording live. Victoria quietly slipped the engagement ring off her finger. The tiny diamond glittered beneath the chandelier lights. I trusted you. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. I built my future around you. Ethan reached toward her. Victoria. She stepped back. Don't. His heart pounded. Everything he'd worked for seemed to be collapsing within minutes. Near the dessert table stood Maria, one of the household staff who had worked for Ethan's family estate for nearly 5 years. She rarely attended formal events, but Victoria had personally insisted every employee join the celebration because, in her words, family isn't only blood. Maria felt completely out of place among the wealthy guests. She wore a simple navy dress. Beside her stood her curious 3-year-old son, Noah. He clutched a tiny red toy truck and quietly observed everything around him. Unlike the adults, Noah wasn't interested in rumors. He simply watched people. The crying woman continued performing dramatically. You abandoned us. I didn't. You ignored every message. I never received any. You blocked my number. I don't even know your number. She pretended to wipe away fresh tears. I loved you. Ethan looked completely exhausted. I don't know who you are. The ballroom had become painfully silent except for the stranger's sobs. Maria shifted uncomfortably. She wanted to leave. This wasn't her world. She gently touched Noah's shoulder. Come here, sweetheart. But Noah kept staring at the woman. His little forehead wrinkled. He looked confused. Very confused. He tugged softly on his mother's sleeve. Mommy. Maria bent down. Yes. He pointed toward the crying woman. Why is that lady saying?